Hello, everyone. I'm Stuart Fischman. This is the Web Yeshiva, and we're going to talk about Korech. And normally, I don't like apologizing for things in advance, but the WebEx people completely changed the layout of all the pages, and they changed the method for uploading files. So much of what I prepared to talk about this evening, I cannot share with you. But on the other hand, if it wasn't for WebEx, I wouldn't be able to talk to you at all. So we take the good with the bad. So we're going to talk about Korech. Korech, the Hebrew word lichroch is to wrap something. Okay? So let me just get a picture. I can always get pictures. Just 1 minute, please. Here it is. Uploading a picture. Takes a long time with the new WebEx. Used to load faster. There, matzot avotenu. These days we're all used to hard, crunchy matzot that look like very large crackers. But once upon a time, matzot was soft, like a pita. A pita is flour and water that you bake with that you just bake without yeast. Knead it less than 18 minutes, get everything out of the oven, and you don't have any chametz at all. And it's really very, very nice. Historians of Minhagim, they try to explain when was this transition from soft pita matzah to hard crunchy matzah. And it changed in the industrial era, in the urbanization era. In the old days, people would bake a few pitot every day and they would eat them. They didn't have refrigerators, they couldn't freeze them, and what you didn't eat would get moldy. Hard, dry, crunchy matzah would have no moisture, don't really support mold. And over the years, the hard, crunchy matzah dominates the market. But these here in Israel, you can get matzah shmura misha tzira avodat yad, matzah tavotenu. Afiat matzot shmurot avodat yad, mibatzek rach v'micha betanur. You can get soft matzot here in Israel. I don't know if they sell them in Chutz La'aretz, but you can get soft matzot here, they're kasher Pesach. And you can wrap them up. And what are we talking about wrapping up with Korech, which is really the subject of our class? There's a Gemara in Masechet Pesachim, and there's an interesting argument over what is the mitzvah of what are we supposed to be eating on Pesach. There's matzah and maror, and the days of Beit Mikdash is also Korban Pesach. Now, we have to look at the psukim, and I'm talking off of my head because many of my pages unfortunately didn't load on the WebEx, and the new WebEx. But we take the good with the bad. This is how it came out. It doesn't do David font. It trips. Ugh. I have to make a note of this also. The fonts don't work now. I'm very sorry for this, but this came out at least in red. Amotzot Amarim Yochluhu. Oh, because it's a Word doc. I didn't make it a PDF. Right, give me a minute, everyone, because you have to. The psukim are important. So I just have to convert everything to PDF. So just give me a minute, please. I really, really apologize for the way this is going. Face bear. You know what? I don't even know how to shrink the screen anymore because there's no clicker up here to shrink the screen. Layout. All right. There's just a lot of things. There's a big learning curve with this. Okay. The pasuk is al matzot. We'll do this from the Gemara. We'll do this from the Gemara, and I'll just have to make a whole list of things that I need to do. Where's the pointer? Cursor. I don't want that. I want the pointer. Okay, they took away the pointer. That's another bad thing. Okay, so we'll start from over here. Why do we do Korech? And the Gemara is going to make two observations. Amar Ravina, Amar Le Rav Mashar Shebei Rav Natan. Achimar Hillel. This Hillel is not the famous Hillel from the stories, but Hillel who was the very patient Tana. This is a Hillel who lived in the 3rd century. Because we're going to meet the original, we're going to meet the first Hillel later. Bishmei the Gemara. Hillel was taught in the name of, he heard from his teachers, Lo nichroch inish matzah umar bahadi adadi v'nechol. Don't wrap. See what we're doing, Korech? They said, don't wrap. Do I choose a color here? How's this going to work? How do I make a wrap here? That was lousy. What's this? I'm really learning how to do this on the fly. I apologize. All these things don't work. Oh, your face. Okay, really got to work on this. Don't wrap matzah and maror together for nechel. Don't do it. We're doing korech. Very good, Ms. Schutzi. But she makes I like the soft matzot. It's very nice. Okay. I'm learning how to find the chat button. Here's the chat button. Okay. Okay. What's my AI assistant? Let me close this. I'm not doing this now. Okay. Don't wrap matzah and maror together and then eat them. Why not? These days, without the Beit HaMikdash, we still don't have the Korban Pesach. That being the case, matzah is still mitzvah min Torah, but according to Hillel, maror is the Rabbanan, because the pasuk, which unfortunately I can't show you because I can't display it. There's a pasuk in Parshat Bamidbar, al matzah u'marorim yochluhu. Korban Pesach should be eaten with matzah and maror. They're together. There's Pesach, matzah, and maror. And according to Hillel, matzah is a mitzvah min Torah. Maror is a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. All right? They're not equivalent. And when you try to do non-equivalent mitzvot simultaneously, they're mevatel. Ati maror d'Rabbanan, mevatel matzah d'oraita. The maror, which is mitzvah d'Rabbanan, will negate the mitzvah d'oraita of eating matzah. Now, normally we think of bittul, we think of things being nullified. For example, there's a famous idea of bittul b'shishim. If a piece of pork would fall into my chicken soup, and I remove the piece of pork, if the volume of my chicken soup is 60 times the volume of that piece of pork, my pork is my soup will be kosher. Some things are never batel. Pesach is coming. Chametz is never batel. If a loaf of bread would crumble up into 1,000,000-gallon vat of chicken soup, you can't eat that chicken soup on Pesach. Even though the ratio of chicken soup to breadcrumbs is 1,000,000 to 1. It's not putzel, it's not batel. How would mitzvah become batel? That's like a really fascinating question. This idea that one mitzvah can cancel another mitzvah. It's really an interesting question, and that's really at the heart of this idea of Korech. And we'll go on and we'll see how the Ramban explains this. But Hillel, let's call him Hillel II. Hillel II said, these days you don't eat the matzah and the maror together, because the maror, which is a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, will negate the mitzvah of matzah that you're trying to observe. And he goes on, and even if you're of the opinion that mitzvot don't negate each other, and immediately the right to b'doraita or drabanan b'drabanan. That's if they're equivalent mitzvot. A mitzvah doraita and another mitzvah doraita, which would have been true in the times of Beit HaMikdash, which we're going to get to, because Hillel the first lived during Beit HaMikdash. In the times of Beit HaMikdash, you could wrap up your matzah and your maror and your pesach together and eat them in a sandwich because they coexist. They're equivalents. Equivalent mitzvot don't cancel each other out. Well, the right rabbanin, ati rabban batlei daraita. Okay, that's Hillel the second. The reason that we shouldn't make a sandwich at the Seder is because the mitzvot are no longer equivalent. My two mitzvot at the Seder are matzah and maror. Matzah is a mitzvah d'oraita. Maror is a mitzvah d'rabbanan. They're non-equivalent. They clash. And the taste of the maror will overpower, for the Rashbam, mevatel tam matzah. The maror matzah is really tasteless. That's why people don't really enjoy matzah. Maror, whatever maror you use at the Seder, does have a powerful flavor. It's going to negate it. Okay, that's the introduction to our Gemara. And the Gemara goes on. Okay, now we're going to hear about Hillel the first. Who's the Tana who says that mitzvot do not negate each other? Hillel This is Hillel the first. This is the very famous Hillel. The Hillel that could never get angry. Hillel who had infinite patience for the stupidest questions. Hillel had all the good midot. What did he do in Beit HaMikdash? When he went to Beit HaMikdash, he had his Korban Pesach, he came home for the Seder. What did he eat? The Tanya. Amar level Hillel. They said about Hillel, Shakarchan b'vat achat v'ochlan. He would eat everything together. Eat the Korban Pesach on matzah with maror. He had all three. He had the Korban Pesach, he had matzah, he had maror, and he would wrap them up. Because again, he had a soft matzah, like Miss Schutz's son who bakes soft matzah. He had matzah, I would say the old time, but he was old. So these are the original matzah. Lafa, what they call these days in Israel, lafa. He ate a lafa. And he would wrap everything up and eat it. Because it says, al matzot umarim yachluhu, eat it on matzah and maror. Who would disagree with this? Amar Rabbi Yochanan, cholken alav chavera al Hillel. Hillel was unique. His contemporaries didn't agree with him, that they wanted to eat a sandwich. The Tanya, there's a braita. You might think, based on that pasuk, that of matzot marim yachluhu, you have to do it this way. Okay? Eat it on matzah and maror. You might think that you should wrap them up together and eat them. The way that Hillel's doing it. Amud Lomar, how do they read the pasuk? Afilu zebifnei atzmo v'zebifnei atzmo. I could wrap it up, but I don't have to. I don't have to. You might think you have to because of that pasuk, but you don't. So Matkalav Ravashi. So Ravashi said, "Hachi mayafilu." It doesn't, even if you eat them separately, that doesn't really make sense. You might think that Hillel's pasuk is obligatory. You must make a sandwich. You must make a sandwich. Maror and Korban Pesach and matzah, you have to eat a sandwich. No, that's not what the pasuk means. Okay? So you have a choice. You can eat like Hillel, or you don't eat like Hillel. It's up to you. So what do we do these days? There's no conclusion. We have a Breita that says what Hillel did. We see that there's another Breita that the Chachamim disagree with Hillel's drasha. Hillel was certainly a great halachic authority, besides being a legendary figure. If he ate a sandwich, maybe we should all eat a sandwich. But the Chachamim say you don't have to. Why do you do? There's no, what do we do? And this is what we do in our times. First thing we do at the Seder, we say al achilat matzah, right? We eat our kazayit matzah. Next. Adam avarech al chilas maror, v'achil. Then we say bracha al chilas maror, we eat our maror. Then we make a sandwich. And that's what we're doing these days. We say al achilas matzah, al achilas maror, and then we make a sandwich, al zech mikdash Hillel, and we eat the sandwich. And do you all hear me? I have I don't know where the controls are on this. Do you all hear me? Unmute yourselves.
Yes, we hear.
Yes. Okay, good. They completely changed the layout. I apologize. I can't load all the pages that I made, but they just don't load. And the text I made don't load. I'm gonna try one more time to upload. Just give me a moment, because I made all these things for you. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of this. Upload a file. If this works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I'll just apologize. Okay, Mishnah Berurah, Tufayin Hey, Sif Aleph, open. Uploading Mishnah Berurah, Tufayin Hey Aleph, 0.0% to zipping along. Zipping along. Keep zipping, please. I hope you loaded. And we're going to see if I loaded. No, it didn't load. I didn't get the second page. Okay, so we saw the Gemara about Korech. I just want to talk about the halachot of Korech, okay? And I'll just talk because I can't load the page, unfortunately. So Korech it's brought down in Shulchan Aruch. It's an Aruch Chaim Siman Tafayin Hasif Aleph, and there's an interesting observation that, first of all, the Machaber says, and I think this is how, if you look at the slide that we made, that the WebYeshiva people made, there's your maror leaf, there's your matzah, you got charoset in the middle. Charoset is an interesting thing. There are two ideas in the Gemara why we make charoset. And it's a machloket. I think I can possibly open that because it's a single page. I really feel bad. Okay, Psachim Kuf Yud Daled. This is a Mishnah in Arvei Psachim. Okay, and it talks about how you manage the Seder. There's no pointer. I hate this. Okay, why do they bring for Hivila Fanav Matzah, V'chazeret, V'charoset? On the Seder tray, there's matzah, chazeret is the leafy vegetable, and charoset, Ushnei tafshilin, and two things that are cooked, besides the Korban Pesach, which was grilled. Al Bishin charoset mitzvah. The Chachamim say charoset is not a mitzvah. The Chachamim say that charoset is there to neutralize the bitterness of the maror. And Rabbi Lezer ben Tzachim mitzvah. And Rabbi Lezer says, no, it is a mitzvah. So it's it is a mitzvah to have maror, to have charoset. And there's all sorts of ideas behind the charoset. It's either zeichel letit. We had to make bricks, and the charoset is a thick, dark paste. Or you have to put apples in it because of another puzzle. Tachat hapuach arartich, that they ate that when they were slaves and they were tired, the women would bring their husbands apples to cheer them up. It's sweet fruit, and they were exhausted from making bricks all day. So it has all sorts of symbolism, the charoset. And Rabbi Dr. says it's a mitzvah to eat charoset. So there's a question: why did Hillel eat when he made his sandwich? You go back to the Gemara on Kuf Tet Vav. What was he doing? Move. Okay. Korech. Okay. He just made a sandwich out of everything, of Pesach matzah and maror. Do you need charoset if you're eating maror with matzah? When you eat maror by itself, you need charoset. The Chum say it'll save you from the vile taste of the maror, and Rabbi Dr. says it's a mitzvah because the maror celebrates the bitterness, and you can find a positive idea in the charoset of tachat tapuach harartich. But if you have matzah with your maror, I have my symbolism. I have the matzah, which is freedom. We left Egypt. We ate matzah. You have the maror, which is the servitude. So the Ramah says you don't need charoset when you make korech sandwich. The matzah itself neutralizes the maror, both the vile taste of the maror, as well as I have the symbolism of the matzah and the maror built in. But the Mechaber says, no, you put charoset in your korech sandwich, and that is the minhag that the Mishnah Berurah says. That is our minhag. We do both. We put the charoset in. I think that's what most people do as well. The other thing I was really wanted to talk to you about, and I unfortunately couldn't load the page, is how much do you have to eat for Korech? Excuse me. I'm going to get a Haggadah and read it to you, because I like to be precise when I talk about halacha. Okay. And I really apologize. I really tried to load these pages, but they're not working. They changed their layout. It is not user-friendly at all. Everybody, I think all of you have make a Seder, right? You can all talk. I can't unmute you. I don't know whether you unmute. I don't have an unmute button. So please talk.
Yes.
What?
Yes.
All
we
right.
want to make a Seder.
What? Okay, so at the Seder, it always works like this. We have our cups of wine or grape juice. You eat your kazayit of matzah. Matzah is very filling, and every time I go to a Seder, always, do I have to eat all this matzah? So, if you live in Israel, there's Rav Yosef Fischman is a very wonderful person. He does tremendous chesed. He makes a Haggadah Shel Pesach, and I do think if you do live in Israel, you can find his Haggadah. It's worth buying because he has pictures, life-size pictures of what you have to eat. So the mitzvah min Torah is to eat a kazayit of matzah, a certain volume of matzah, a certain quantity of matzah, and you know that there are different opinions. How big is a kazayit? How big is an olive? And it's a whole nother subject, how to calculate a kazayit. So Rav Rimon has three options. He has the ideal option, how much you should eat. He has a middle option, how much you should eat if it's hard for you to eat. Then he has it's okay if that's all you can do, sheer, how much you should eat. And it ranges from, if you talk about machine matzahs, which are a standard size, from 3/4 of a matzah to a half of a matzah to a third of a matzah. All right, that's your motzi matzah, the kazait min haTorah. Next thing comes to maror. How much more do you have to eat? He has a life-size picture of the leaf that he thinks you should eat. He gives it in metric units. You should eat 19 cubic centimeters of leaf. It's ideal to do 27 cubic centimeters of a leaf, which isn't so hard. You can squish up the leaf. And the Seder in our house, I know, then it gets to Korech. What? There's more matzah? There's more leaf? Do I have to eat all of this? And then, because we already did the mitzvah, right? We did the mitzvah of matzah. We did the mitzvah of maror. Now, Korech is serious. It's not a joke, because you go back to the Gemara. Gemara says, we Yotze both. The Gemara thinks it's important to fulfill the mitzvah of matzah the way Hillel did it. When it's not like a farce. Gemara says, maybe you do have to be Yotze Hillel. Hillel is Hillel. I mean, if he says do it, no one's going to argue with Hillel Hazaken, right? He's very, very serious. But on the other hand, if it's hard for a person to consume this much matzah, you can go for the smallest shear if it's hard. Okay, and I'll just find for Korech where he says this. He says it's enough to eat a third of a matzah. He says, take it, because I'll read it in Hebrew, and I'll read you what he says, and I'll translate into English. So he already starts from the middle shear, half a matzah. He leaves out the 3/4 of a matzah. 3/4 is, at the beginning of the meal, maybe you can't eat 3/4 of a machine matzah, and that way you know you did the mitzvah the oraita. Zechel mikdash kehillel is a drabanan, and Rav Rimon says you can already dial it back one. So you start with a half a matzah. If it's hard, eat a third of a matzah. And it comes to how much maror to put, how much romaine lettuce leaf or ground maror that you use. You can even get by with 17 cubic centimeters. If you think metrically in your head, you can picture that. I don't think metric, so you know how much of a leaf it is. And that's the idea of Korech. And I wanted to share with you one idea. I wish I could have posted it, but unfortunately, again, the WebEx just completely threw me for a loop, threw a lot of people for a loop. He makes a point. What's Korech about? Korech is a sandwich again. There's the matzah, which is freedom, and there's the maror leaf, which is the servitude. And he quotes Rav Kook saying that to be a slave is very, very bad. Of course, it's very, very bad. We're happy that Hashem redeemed us. But we need to keep in mind there's a certain sort of servitude, an awareness that's very, very positive, that we accept that there is a superior being, that's Hashem. We don't want to lose that in our freedom to think that we're free of Hashem. Of course we're not. That's why Hillel emphasized eating the matzah and the maror and the Pesach together. Because it's not that, of course, we're happy that we're free, but we're also living with an awareness that we're servants of Hashem. That's the importance of Korech, that we're free, and Hashem says free from the Egyptians, but we accept the authority of Hashem. And that's a very nice idea. That's what you put the two of them together, and we should put them together. That's it. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for your time. I apologize for all the technical difficulties between the Hafsakat Chashmal and the new WebEx. Any questions or ideas? You can unmute yourselves. Hello?
Any questions? Thank you, Rabbi Fischman.
So thank you for your time.
You've
thank
gone
you
through
for
your slavery to the modern whatevers.
the WebEx.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the WebEx, we wouldn't be learning together at all.
I know. So thank you so much.
We have to take the good with the bad. Thank you for your time.
Tomorrow with the matzah.
Thank you.
Okay, good Shabbos. Yes, tomorrow with the matzah. Very good. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.